Okay, guys, take a look at this chart. See this spike here? Okay, this stock went absolutely vertical. We're talking about 50 cents to $1.50 in one day. Triple move, okay? Triple move. Now, what happens a week later? Check this out. Today, this stock goes from 80 cents to, my friends, $19 a share. Same ticker, same stock, week later. Now, here's the thing. Every new trader out there is hunting for the next big thing, some undiscovered ticker, the one nobody has found, no one has heard of. You know, these stocks that just no volume sitting there. It's got to bounce, right? I do not do that, okay? I trade the same stocks over and over and over again that have already run. I mean, I know it sounds counterintuitive, but this stock went from 80 cents to $19 a week later, okay? Seems backwards, but stick with me. Because by the end of this, you're going to understand why the biggest movers in the market are always the repeat run offenders, okay? The former runners, we call them. And why chasing the stock du jour, you know, that day one runner that pops up and dies 5 minutes later and never bounces, I think it's one of the fastest ways to lose money. So let's define a former runner. I mean, I can't come up with many better examples than CPHI, but there's a ton of them. I mean, this is a stock that is, you know, let me show you. Let me jump back again. Just a little, basically a week to the day, okay, made a massive move. 50 cents to $1.50 in recent history, okay? So that's exactly what it is. It's proven that it can make violent moves. And this is a term, I'm probably going to say it 10 times in this video, okay? Sorry. History does not repeat, but it rhymes. That's the core fundamental idea of these former runners. If it went big last time, then that means it's got the juice, it's got the legs, it's got the ability to do that again. It's on the record. Everyone remembers it. You know, this is one of the funny things that people overlook. Stock market is made up of humans, right? Traders, okay? People are trading these small cap stocks. There's some algos, but it's 90% humans. And humans have memories, right? I mean, you remember stuff. Like maybe CPHI a week ago, you didn't trade it. You heard about it after the fact and you're like, oh, or maybe you did really well on it, okay? You're like, whoa, I remember CPHI. So when these former runners start coming up again, people gravitate to them simply because, I mean, I know it might sound dumb, but everyone remembers. I mean, it was just a week ago. And here's why this matters. Proof, it's kind of the rarest thing in this market. Think about how many stocks are out there sitting at the lows, thousands. I mean, literally thousands of stocks sitting at 52-week lows, and most of them, a massive majority of them, I mean, I'm picking out a number here, but we're talking 95% are never going to move. They're just going to sit there flat. They've never done anything in the past, and guess what? History doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. They've never done anything in the past, probably not going to do anything in the future. But former runners have raised their hand and said, hey, you know, under the right conditions, I can go up 200% in a day or way more than that with CPHI. You know, this stock is way off the highs. It's still up 800% on the day, okay? That's not a guess. That's history predicting the future. So if you needed somebody to run a 4-minute mile, would you go find a guy who's never ran? Okay, probably not the guy to bet on. Or are you going to find a guy that did it last year? Same idea, okay? Odds are he's going to repeat that feat again. I want the stock that's already done it, that's proven itself. Now, why does this happen? Because nothing about these stocks really changes. That micro float, 4 million float on this stock, okay? Helps it explode the first time, still tiny today. Nobody fixed that or changed that. And second, this is the big one, the crowd remembers. I touched on this earlier. Traders remember this stock. Whether it made them money or they just heard about it or got alerts on it, okay? It's on their watch list. This, coincidentally, today is Tuesday. Last Wednesday, this was on my weekly watch list. And I'm like, do not forget about CPHI. And guess what? Today, boatloads of traders are like, where did CPHI come back? And I'm like, I told you Wednesday, do not forget about this stock, okay? Now understand, this is where people screw up, is if you look at, you know, after that day, nothing. I mean, it's only 5 days. I mean, it kind of blows me away so many times. Like with these repeat runners. Like people are like, I forgot about a CPHI. I'm like, it was 5 days ago. Like, what, insect type memory do you have to forget about a 300% runner 5 days later? I mean, we're not talking about 5 months later or 5 years later. We're talking 5 days, trading days, okay? 7 calendar days. But anyway, the point is, the crowd remembers. They've set up alerts. Maybe they watched that watch list so they didn't miss it, or it's just in their head. So the second it starts ticking up, these people show up again. And third, listen, these companies know the playbook. They play this game, okay? Remember, these aren't investments. These are just trades. These companies manipulate, create these moves, allegedly. We know how the game is played, but allegedly, okay? They create these moves to run the stock up so that they can do a dilution and raise cash. I mean, it's just a game that they play. They have no products. They have no sales. They have no revenue. They certainly have no profits. So they sell paper. They run them up. They dilute them down. And that's why repeat runners happen so many times. Because when they get low on cash, allegedly, they will run them up and dilute them. And if you know the rules of this game, it's the best trades in the world. I mean, we're talking, 80 cents to $19. I'm not saying you would have bought the bottom or the top, but imagine the potential there, okay? Grab a couple bucks of the meat of that move when you're talking an $18 move, okay? So anyway, the point is, it's not luck. It's the same float, same crowd, same script. Now, is it surprising to me? No, but it is to many. Finding these former runners isn't luck. It's a skill. It's repetitive. It's why I put it on the watch list and told people not to forget about it. So, which means you can learn it, okay? Now, I'm going to slow down a little bit here because this is the most important idea in this whole video. The market has a memory. It's made up of humans, right? Humans have memories. Touched on that earlier. And the memory is the setup. Now, most people don't think a stock moves because of the news, or they do think it moves because of the news. Sure, news can light the fuse, okay? The news will ignite the fuse, but the reason this stock moved like this today is because thousands of traders recognize the name from a week ago. They've seen it before, okay? They remember it. Like I said, maybe they traded it, maybe they missed it. Maybe that sting of missing it creates this move. They don't hesitate, okay? The ones that are ready pile in. Now take a brand new day one ticker nobody's heard of, never moved, drop the same news, and what happens? Spikes up, immediately dies, dead the rest of the day, okay? Same news, nothing, because nobody knows about it, okay? Nobody remembers it. There's no crowd, there's no memory, and familiarity creates the liquidity. And liquidity is the most important thing. That's what we need. I mean, what was the daily volume on this stock today? 100 million shares when it typically trades 2 million, okay? So that being said, when you trade a former runner, you're not trading the ticker. Write this down, my friends. Many of you heard me say 1,000 times. We don't trade tickers, we trade patterns, okay? And the pattern happened on CPHI. And that pattern is formed from everybody else's memory of the stock and the company. And hey, guess what, guys? This repeats day in and day out. My favorite plays that everybody misses are just like CPHI. And think about it. If you're a part-time trader, like maybe you missed last week's move. You're at work, you got things going on, it happens. You're one of the people that comes home and says, oh, if only I would have known about CPHI. That's your hint. You could have, okay? There's a reason I put it on that watch list and like literally screamed at people, do not forget about CPHI over $1, okay? Look at what it did when it hit $1. So you could have been prepared in advance. So my friends, if you like this education, you want to keep this rolling, hit the subscribe button, okay? This is what we do here every day. So let me show you what this actually looks like. Now in the past, here's the shape. Now somewhere in the past, could be a week ago, we went over that, stocks makes that big move, okay? Like repeatable. Now I know it doesn't look like much on the chart, but there's a lot there, okay? There's a lot there. 50 cents to $1.85. Also, crazy volume. If we look at the daily volume on that first one, it was even higher than today. Okay, we're talking again almost 100 million shares. So now we have fingerprints from the past. We're looking at the daily chart now. This is a great example because 2 months ago too. Look at this. Back in May, this stock went from 50 cents to $1.50 in a couple days. Like repeat spikes. Okay. Now, could be months ago. Typically, we don't go over a year, but the stock makes this kind of dramatic move, a real one, not a 2% day, a move that got attention, 100 million shares. Then just kind of goes asleep. I already showed you that, but let me jump back and show you what this stock did for the previous week until today. Nothing, okay? Then one morning, okay, something happens, and that was today. But stock gets news. Now, people get attention. Everyone, the message boards, and everyone starts getting excited, and boom, it's off to the races yet again. When this stock broke $1, it moves fast because everybody who traded it the first time still has it on their list. They didn't need to research it. They didn't need to find out what they did. They don't know what, have to look at what sector they're in. They know. Now, here's the other key thing. The second run was not a surprise. Not to me, okay? The stock was already on my watch list from last Wednesday. I wasn't discovering it today. I was waiting for it. So the traders who got the good entry already knew days in advance. The ones who found it on the scanner this morning, they probably saw it at $10 a share when it was already up 1,000% or something. Now, that's not a strategy, okay? The real strategy is reacting, being ready for something that was predicted a few days ago. And you got to wait a few days. I know nobody likes that. But that being said, if you capitalize on these when the volume comes in, that is why it's so powerful. So these former runners, okay, they're not a trade yet until we know we've got volume confirmation. Real volume, okay? And significantly over the average, okay? Like this stock right at the market open started trading more than its daily average in a matter of candles, okay? We need the fuel to continue to drive that higher. Now, history gets it on the list. Volume and a catalyst get it traded. Now, never mix those two up. So that being said, if you're getting value out of these guys, I don't want you to miss the next CPHI. Hit subscribe, ring that bell. I don't want you to miss the next watch list or the next Sunday night live stream. So that being said, hit that subscribe side. Now, let me be straight with you, because I'm not going to sell you a fantasy. Most former runners never run again. Might sound bad, right? But it's just a watch list. Now, most of them, so you might have a list of 30, 40 names at some point, and on any given day, 38 of them just sit there rotting. You ignore them. It's normal. That's the game. Some are never going to come back. They're called one and dones. The company diluted the daylights out of it, increased the float massively. So now the float's just too big to enable a move like we see with float rotation. They printed a pile of new shares, killed the float. Now it's 100 million, billion shares or something. The promotion, the hype, long over. So if you're staring at a dead ticker saying it ran before, it's got to run again, no, you're misinterpreting this. It doesn't have to do anything. Hope's not a strategy, and a chart from last year or last week does not owe you a repeat performance. You're not predicting these stocks will run. You're positioned in case they do. Big difference. So how do you actually track these? Always blows me away. You build watch lists, okay? Like what I do is have a rolling watch list, okay? And there's a lot of videos on the channel. Check it out, okay? Each day, the biggest runners that are strong into the end of the day get added to that day's watch list. This stock was on last Wednesday's watch list. Then the very first thing I do is go back through the previous days to see which stocks are still holding up, which are still alive. Most of them died. So as you roll forward 2, 3, 4, 5 days, you're probably only rolling over 3 or 4 tickers, okay? That's not hard to manage. Now, you're not just collecting tickers. A bigger watch list isn't a better. You're building a library. And over time, you'll start to see it. Same types of stocks run on the same types of news. That's the pattern. And you can't see the pattern if you didn't write anything down. You don't need anything fancy. I mean, the ticker, the date, what it did, why it did it, the catalyst. I mean, 4 things. The traders have been doing this for years, aren't smarter than you. Just have a bigger library, a bigger database. So that being said, let's bring it home. You're not trying to predict the future. You're studying the past and waiting for it to rhyme. Trading isn't about finding something new. It's about recognizing something familiar. The traders hunting for the undiscovered tickers are working 10 times harder than me and getting worse results because they start from scratch every morning. I don't. I roll over that watch list and then just waiting for the few survivors to wake up. Get 1% better today than you were yesterday. Write down one name, okay? Hopefully it's CPHI because you never know. Week from now, this thing might do it again. So that list of former runners is worthless if you don't have a system for it. So go watch that rolling watch list video next. It's where I show you exactly how I keep track of all of this. It takes about 10 minutes a night. It's not time consuming. It's right there, and I'll see you in the next video.